Steve Cross, CEO of iSynergy, thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
You took part in our marketing roundtable that is in the mid-September issue of the Business Journal. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the marketing industry. Could you tell us a little bit about how it's changed over the past few years?
Well, obviously it's 90% digital now,
right.
But there's the need, for traditional. Everything's cyclical, right? You have to know the history. Things that are coming back now are the old direct mailers that we got in the 80s, 90s, that everybody hated and threw out. Now, the generation now that they've never received mail, now they're getting mail and they love that stuff. So like the direct mailers are coming back with some authority and conversions there. You just got to know how to track it properly, so you know the return on your dollars. That's the biggest thing. But digital world, a lot of it is testing, knowing what works for you, because what works for your buddy or your competitor might not work for you. So it's all about going to market, having a strategy. And we always say with digital, where you start is never where you should end. Mm-hmm. Meaning you can be dynamic. You're not running a flight on a local TV channel where it's 4 weeks on, and at the end you kind of test it and you say, oh, what do we get out of that? With digital, you can run it for a couple days, or depending on the volume, a couple weeks, and you can pivot. You can change your creative, you can change your headline, you can change your text, you can change your landing page, you can optimize your targeting. So where you start, that digital gives you that dynamic ability to improve and optimize on the fly.
It's interesting that you say it's cyclical. It's something that you kind of just put your finger on that I'm like, yes, that's obvious. It would be, because one of the things that occurs to me is that we're getting marketed to so much more frequently now than we were, say, 40 years ago or something, and from so many different sources, that I would think one of the things marketers would have to be constantly combating is fatigue or just overexposure, or the same old thing, just people going, enough of that already.
Absolutely.
So you constantly have to be pivoting. Am I accurate?
Well, we talked off camera, we talked a little about ethics, and it's the same in digital. You can, and I'm sure we've all been there, you open up USA Today or one of larger publications, and you see the same ad 30 times in a matter of 12 minutes while you're online. That is just brute force. I want you to see our ads as much as possible. That turns people off. So we set frequency caps for every single campaign we run. It depends on the day, it depends on the geo, but so that way we don't take that needle the wrong way for our client. But yeah, the fatigue is there, the impressions. We've never been, as marketers, we've never had the availability of impressions and eyeballs that we used to have. Back in the day it was, the Yelp pages, right? The sign on your door or on your building. If you could get signage somewhere else, great. The local, the periodicals, publications that were local to you, and you did some sponsorships for the school or the community around town. Now it's because eyes are everywhere. So many different apps, devices. So it's crazy. Like you can even, we deliver ads to people's cars inside their maps now.
Right.
Like it's just amazing to think that they can't get away from us, but you have to do it well and you have to do it intentional.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. You used to almost know when you were going to get marketed to. I'm going to watch television. Boom. There's there are going to be commercials. I'm going to read the newspaper. There will be ads. Now you're just pumping gas and somebody's talking to you. You know what I mean? It never ends. Right? So I would think it would make it both, harder to stand out, but also make it more difficult to just not annoy people.
Yeah. Well, because there's so many ads, and there's also a lot of great content at the same time. So people are very suspect about, is this real content that they're delivering value to me, or are you marketing to me? Are you going to do a bait and switch?
It's harder to tell the difference now.
Yes. Especially with an experienced and a knowledgeable audience, it's very difficult. That's why, at the end of the day, with digital, everybody talks about targeting and the availability and all this. At the end of the day, marketing, it's the creative. it's the copy, the title. You guys know this, in the headline, and it's the creative in the ad. If it's junk, doesn't matter. People aren't going to care. But if you have great creative, at the end of the day, marketing 101, great creative, do your best pitch. If it's good, they're going to thumb stopping or eye scrolling. They're going to stick and listen to your message.
Well, let's kind of go from there into content marketing, because that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is adding value or providing some kind of value to an audience. How much of that, and you kind of just talked about it, are they actually providing value, or are they going to kind of hook me in a little bit and then do the old bait and switch? I guess, what's your take on content marketing, and how is it best used?
I would say it's depends on who you hire,
Right.
who you use.
Right.
But at its core, there's a lot of people out there, agencies or freelancers or companies in-house, that they think they're doing great content marketing. They think they're delivering great value between the social media and email marketing and the ebooks or guides or webinars, until they see really great marketing and really great content, and then they realize that they aren't. But the difference there is experience, not in the field, but in more about audiences and personas and what do people want. Like, a manufacturer could talk all day about their manufacturing line, how they do things, how they're leading the way in efficiency or technology. But if it's not packaged or delivered in a way that their consumer might enjoy or digest that, then it doesn't matter. So it all depends on, and it's not about frequency, it's not about volume, it's about, number one, great content. If we have one great, like an ebook or a guide, if we do one great one a year, we can hammer it home for that client, and they're good. That one great piece of content will deliver enough leads that will overwhelm them, as opposed to, sometimes we'll talk to clients, or we'll see it out there. Somebody will be putting out a piece of content once a month, and it's very difficult to put out that much content and have it be good content that they want to be placed and put up as the authority,
Right.
and their consumers are going to want.
And that's what it's about, right? Basically,
quality,
it's setting yourself
quality.
up as an expert in your little niche,
niche.
or your industry, or whatever it
Yep,
is.
that's it. At its core, it's content, and it's positioning yourself as the authority. You want to give away as much value as you can, so that way people follow you, they subscribe, and they stay, the top of your funnel or your flywheel, or whatever, however you describe it. So that way, when they do get down to the sales part of the funnel, and they are in market and they do want to purchase, you want to, as a content marketer or as that company, you want them to think of you first.
Right.
It's a long play.
Yeah,
It's not
no, it
programmatic
is.
where you turn
Right.
on a Facebook ad and tomorrow you get leads. It's not.
Right. Yeah, it's the long game. And I think part of it, tell me if I'm wrong, is about gaining some trust and actually building a relationship with this audience. Because, and again, tell me if I'm wrong, it would seem that, at least today, people almost form personal relationships with their brands. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before it was like, well, there are these 3 sneakers, you know what I mean? There's Reebok, Nike, and Fila, and I like the design on that one. Now they want to know where the shoe was made, what kind of charities the companies support. They want all of that stuff, and it's almost as if they don't align with the, you know what I mean? The values of the company, then they'll
leave.
Am I right?
Oh, you're on it. You want to see a good argument. In this day and age, even if it's like politics, Democrat or Republican, you get them. They're going to argue. If you're an iPhone guy, tell an Android user that iPhone's better, and you're going to have the exact same mentality back and forth. But it's just their affinity for that brand, because the best brands that do it well, they have it documented. Who we are, what we do, what we stand for, and they have a decent level of transparency of doing it. Now, does that mean there isn't a lot of nice marketing involved? Absolutely. It's not just, hey, we're going to list them and we hope everybody gravitates to us. No, you have to go out and you have to present that, and you also have to stand behind it. There's the horror stories of, Uber a few years ago before COVID, like they had a lot of go to issues in-house.
Okay.
So a lot of people.
there was some company. Okay, I remember.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, their brand equity went way down for a lot of consumers. You know, and that's how Lyft took a huge jump in the market because of that leadership and the issues that they had in-house. But yeah, it's not a personalization of the brand. It's just being true and knowing who you are as a brand and being able to deliver that to the public. And you know, with that, back in the day, it was, well, we don't want to upset anybody. Right. We're not taking a stand. Now
You can't not upset people today.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. But now you're going to upset somebody. Like, get away from it. Like, you're going to get over it.
Right.
But you have to. Now it's who are we? What do we stand for? And you know, there's a soft way to do that. You know, you don't have to come down with a hammer about, you know, our stance on a certain social issue. So there's a great way, a better way to do it than others. But it starts from the inside, knowing who you are. We just went through an exercise with one of our clients about, and they hired us to do their marketing, content, SEO, website, all the stuff. But we kind of took a step back and are like, we need to do some marketing internally to your staff. So that way they get on board, because they had a huge shift in their culture and where they wanted to go, services they were going to offer. So we had to take them through an exercise about, hey, we need to get to your staff and get them on board, you know, with leadership, and do some, you know, not marketing to them, but do some workshops with them and have some talks with them, break out like a leadership group and different committees and stuff like that. So that way it exudes from the inside out.
Right.
Because if we go to market with this new message and then a consumer goes and talks to one of the employees, they're like, yeah, it's all BS. I've never even heard anything about that. Right in the tank. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Is content marketing a good idea for every business? Should some businesses just, no, I'm not doing that?
As a whole, no, it's not right for everybody. Are there components? Because inbound content marketing, it's pretty a large methodology. So there's components that every brand should be doing. Yes, almost every brand should be doing some type of email marketing. Even if it's to your own list, some type of newsletter, hey, what we're up to, what we're doing, even if it's once a quarter. If they're following you and they subscribed, they want to hear from you. You know, that's an indicator. That's like, you know, back in the days when you're dating, you get a girl's number. If you never call her, then why'd you get the number? You know,
that's what you're supposed to do, Steve.
Right?
That's the game, man.
You gotta follow up.
Oh, you rookie! You don't know what you're doing. No.
So they subscribe to your email because they want to hear from you.
Right.
You know, that's an indicator. Do they want to buy from you? Should you hit them with a sales sequence? No, probably not. But should you have a drip campaign to them to tell you more about the company, what you do, get them on your newsletter, things of that nature? Yes. So, as a whole, absolutely not. There's only, I feel, a limited number of verticals that should be all in on content marketing. But components of it, absolutely.
717 Credit Union. Savings power to give your business an extra boost. Business savings, certificates, and business money market. 717 Credit Union. Make your money work as hard as you do. Check out our business money market and CD rates at 717cu.com/rates.